stop. Good afternoon, y'all. Good afternoon. We got some stuff to talk about. So I did what I had to do earlier. And I said it was going to be probably afternoon. And it is afternoon. Where's my charger? That's computer's almost dead. How has y'all day been? Or how's your day going? Are y'all ready for the weekend? It's like Friday Eve. I know you all ready for the weekend. So, as I set up, some people under attack, man. Some people are under attack. Woo! It is crazy out here in this higher education world, man. And it's not looking better. It's not getting better. It's not getting better. If you join, please let me know if you can hear me well. I'm using these headphones as well. So please let me know if you can hear me. Actually, let me test something right quick. Can I hear myself? Can I hear myself? Yeah, I can hear myself. So I just did a test on the screen so I can hear myself. You probably heard me say something. Yeah, okay. Cool. Y'all get me real good. Yeah, I'm gonna use these better because the other headphones, when I was doing some editing and playing back, I was noticing a little static, guys. It was like it'll play smooth a lot, but I kept noticing a little, and I don't like that. I want the quality. I would rather the camera quality be bad than the audio. I would love for the audio to be perfect like this. So I want to make sure you all look good. Let's do our disclaimer. And let's get rocking. Let's rock out, you know. So, disclaimer, the videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend the institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of Creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. Let's go. No. Let's rock out. Keep saying let's go. Let's rock out. Let's rock out. So, as we say, we got some stories, man. We got some things we could talk about. And I said before I live stream, my goal was to get some water. And I did not get any water, guys. I really want to get up and go get some, but I don't want to do that. Can I hide the camera from you all? If I can hide the camera from you all, I don't think I can. So I gotta deal with no water. So where my pen go? So first things first. HBCUs are looking bearish. And when I say bearish, in the stock market world, bearish means downhill, red, bad, not good. And so HBCUs are under attack right now as well. They are getting hit harder, which is crazy because I wasn't expecting HBCUs to be affected by the DEI initiatives. I know this is not my realm, but I really can't ignore it, because this is the last thing I expected. So the Trump administration wars on federal research, per Chronicle of Higher Education. Shout out to them for the research and the data and all that good stuff. So there's a war on federal research, as we know, with the Trump administration, right? And DEI initiatives, which have resulted in dozens of canceled grants. Now, you remember, guys, me talking about canceled grants, right? And when you have canceled grants, it affects a lot of people, jobs, scholarships, research, and more, right? And so, canceled grants to historically black colleges and universities. For the nation's biggest HBCUs, the loss of that funding is another roadblock impeding a decades-long effort to attain. That word is like I want to make sure I said it right. I believe it's like coveted, not coveted, but coveted. Coveted. That's how I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. But I am going to play it out loud for us real quick. Cause y'all know my wordplay is not all that. Come across words, I be like, huh?
Coveted.
Coveted. Okay, I did say it right. Coveted. So, your effort to attain the coveted research one. So, guys, research one. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna flow that one more time. The loss of that funding is another roadblock impeding a decades-long effort to attain the coveted research one carnage classification. So, what is a research one? First and foremost, guys, research one is considered, if I'm not mistaken, top tier because I go to Georgia State University for graduate school, and they are a R1 school, which is research one. So I'm looking up research one meaning right now. AI should be able to give us an overview because it's very, yeah. So research one or R1. If you're ever looking to go to school and you love researching things, putting data together, or looking to take data and talk about it like I'm doing, but you want to make sure your information is credible. I know we live in a time where we believe everything is not credible because you see it on social media or something, but at least in my career field and many others, this research is conducted by people and institutions who have spent years, like starting from minutes, hours, to days, to weeks, to months, to years, and some decades, and research gets passed along. And this is where your best researchers. So like Georgia Tech consists of a it is a research one, I believe, Georgia Tech. And then I could be wrong, but schools like your big schools, they are research one, like Georgia State, research one. I know I'm saying a lot of schools in Georgia, but if you go up north, some schools up north, if you look up some schools you're interested in, they could be considered a R1. And so R1 is universities are those with the highest level of research activity. We do a lot of research, right? Like I said, graduate school. My graduate school is a lot harder because I go to a research one school. So, okay, I'm back. I'm just making sure, guys. I'm just gonna check the control room. We stop for a second, and we are good. Perfect. So, we are a research one. When I talk about topics that can be simple at other schools, doesn't make us better, I would say, but we're just going to be more thorough and detailed than the typical person who's talking off general knowledge. We're going to come with facts versus opinions, right? Some will state a lot of things, but they won't back it up with data and evidence. That's why I'm so confident and talking about the structure is wrong in higher education. You're upgrading these stadiums, these basketball courts, and da 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 da, but you're still paying people more, and you're not enrolling students more. And where you ever thought about a time where your grants and stuff might get cut, and then nobody was thinking about those things, and those were my topics in graduate school. Those got those topics, I feel like helped me stand out in graduate school a lot in my perspective because everything I said is coming to light. And it's humbly speaking because I wasn't really into going to graduate school. Like everything I was talking about before, I wasn't backing it up with research. I was just stating from experience, and I didn't have no research to back it up. Went to graduate school, and luckily, I'm glad. Shout out to the graduate school at Georgia State, my higher education program, because it gave me a lot of freedom to talk about what I wanted to talk about. They didn't force me to be traditional with what you could say, they didn't force me to be traditional with my perspective. They let me be authentic. And so R1, we do a lot of research. These institutions are characterized by significant research funding, a high number of doctoral degrees awarded, and a large number of faculty engaged in research. So, just a fancy way of saying we receive a lot of research funding, which hurts us a lot, right? Because before I get back on the HBCUs, I'm so sorry. It's just really important to know because schools that are being hit the hardest are very like if a school's a research one R1, that means they do a lot of research and they're considered credible. They even go as far as doing research for the government. Of course with different administrations. And so if your school relies heavily on funding to do research, which helps bring in the doctoral degrees, which brings in the money because your doctoral students have to pay a lot of money to go to school, right? And your masters and so on, right? But if they can't really do research or have the funding for research, you're not really going to get those students. Those students, because these are people who are living a regular life like me and you, right? They're going to go to other schools, which leads us back into HBCUs because right here it says more than $140 million in grants to black colleges have been terminated since Trump took office. Now, guys, I do tell you to keep in mind when I'm getting information from the Chronicles of Higher Education, it's very like there has been a lot of speculation that higher education is liberal. Like these media outlets, I would say are considered liberal, but a lot of people would say, "Oh, that's not blah blah blah." But I just say because the way I view it, I take because there's many left media outlets in higher education. Higher education is like very liberal, and there's not many right media outlets because I wanted to have a balance because we're nonpartisan. So what I do on the channel, just to give you a rinse and repeat, I do say start at a 2 year and go to a 4 year. So you should know instantly I'm not being biased about my higher education perspective, right? You should when I see something that they're saying when I'm reading this information, these articles, this data, I'm putting my own perspective on it. I really can care less about left or right wing crap, honestly. And I'm just got to reinstate that a lot because I wasn't thinking about left or right wing um, or anything like that when I was getting my debt free degrees. It was me. Like, I had help along the way. As always, nobody could do anything by themselves. But it was really like me navigating and picking the right schools because nobody really had the vision I saw, like trying to say like get a debt free degree and I'm gonna just go to bigger schools as I work my way up. Like at my 2 year, I started at 2 year college, right? Went to a 4 year. It was a pretty good 4 year, not the best, not the biggest known school, right? Then now I'm at a bigger school that most people would know about, but I worked my way up, right? And now I'm sharper than a lot of people who started at a 4 year, right? Who skip lines. I don't skip lines if I don't have, like, if I need to and it's best for me to skip a line, I skip a line. But if I feel like I can perfect myself, take my time, be like in training camp for my athletes, I'm gonna take my time and be in training camp and rest my mind a little bit, right? So they said $140 million in grants to black colleges have been terminated. They said the grants from the National Institutes of Health, which is the NIH, and the National Science Foundation and NSF supported projects like a center focused on black for my health people out there, forgive me if I say this wrong, maternal. I'm gonna try to say it first. Black maternal health. For all my health people out there, I believe it's maternal, but it could be pronounced different. Let me see. Closing out some tabs. Maternal. Yeah, maternal. I said it right. Maternal health and mortality, research on Alzheimer's disease among black Americans, and scholarships for black undergraduate students. I said it right. And scholarships for black undergraduate students pursuing careers in STEM. So they cut $140 million in grants. So let's be honest, right? there's a disparity in the African American culture, right? My culture. And when you talk about it, it's very like I have talked to peers who had different perspectives, right? It's like pulling they call it like pulling a victim card, right? They feel like we have the same advantage as everyone else, but in reality we don't. And being honest, when I went to I went to a historical black high school, right? So after I went to a historical black high school for 4 years, I wanted to branch out and have something different. But remember, I went to a 2 year by accident. So I didn't really know what I was going to, like a PWI, right? And when I went to the PWI, I was a little culture shocked because I was in a class full of white Americans, you would say. And so I was gonna say Caucasian, but I remember instances when I said that around white people, they were like, we're not Caucasian, we're white. And I was like, So I was in a class with white people for the first time, like a lot of them though. Like at a not HBCU, at a historical black high school, for anybody who went to historical black high school / Title One, you might see one at this particular Title One and high school. It was like you would probably have 1 to 2 white people in the classroom for me. And so, and based on the community and environment I'm from, because I always give context, me and my peers talk about it all the time. Being in poverty, coming from Section 8 and stuff like that, we seen white people, but they were just like us. And we seen Latinos, we had everybody, every demographic you can have. And we said when we got out of high school, we all agreed on like just talking amongst each other. Now it's like things got complicated when we graduated high school because it was the people already in the world for our lens, the people who was already in the world dealing with everything going on today. We wasn't exposed to that because we went to a historical black high school and my parents, but the school never really brought up that they never brought that up to us. They just told us they taught us how to be confident in ourselves and what we were good at, like public speaking, shaking hands. Like we were doing everything. We didn't really have a problem. It wasn't a problem at my school. We never got caught up in this or that. And so, and you'll learn more as I go. So so that's what I'm getting at when they're cutting that. And it's true. I do feel like some people need more help, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not important. It's important. Now, a person with my perspective though, I do believe that if I want something, I'm going to get it. I don't have to go to a particular school to get what I need to get. I never compared myself to anybody. I just knew I had to be better than everybody. So my bar is set up here. Like I never strive to be mediocre. If I'm mediocre at something, I just know I'm not that good at it, and I'm not gonna take it that serious. I'm gonna find something else to do. Like if you gonna be mediocre at something, just do it, but don't get yourself worked up over it. Like if I want to do something, like if I put my mind to it and I want to do it, I do it. Like when I got my degrees and I knew I was gonna get a debt-free degree, nobody was in competition with me. I wasn't even in competition with students no more. I don't care what demographic you were. I wasn't in competition with you no more. Because if you came from a good background, let's just say you did come from a good background, you wasn't going to beat me in the classroom because I'm putting my own money into going to school. You see, it's already a difference mentally. So I'm going to stay up to 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and I'm going to make sure my work is good. I don't care if the professor gives me an 80. All I know is it's not going to be a failing grade. You get what I'm saying? So even when you put me with people who don't have that much, I wasn't thinking I didn't have that much no more. I'm thinking, hey, I'm on a path. I'm saving money. I'm about to have a job. I'm at an affordable school once I start figuring it out. And I was taking the Metro bus, but I saw the vision. It was like I had a vision. I was still working out, hitting weights. I was running at that time. I was running way more. I was running like 3 miles, but 3 miles takes like 24 minutes, and I like to be in the gym for an hour, right? So I run trails outside, and so when I was doing this, I was like, students ain't working out. They not running outside, going to the weight room. Like I run outside, and then I would go to the weight room. One of the dislikes I don't like really about being in the Atlanta area like that. Ain't really many trails. I had to go I had to go toward I had to go to areas to get on the running trail. Versus being in my city, I know where it's like a running trail everywhere. So um yeah. So my competition has never been based on my demographic. Never has been. From the moment I started in high school, and then but I really got focused on it after high school. Like I'm gonna be better than you. I'm going to be better than you. It don't matter who you are. Cause I started realizing, like, when I started learning about the stocks in the world perspective, I'm not going against people in America no more. I'm going against people in the world. You see? Because if I can be better than everybody in the States, which I feel like I am when it comes to higher education, um, I can definitely once I learned outside, outside in the countries, when I learned different countries more and abroad, I could be better than them because higher education is a world problem. It's not just an American problem. We just focusing on the American problem of it. And so, before anybody get any ideas about me, because I should click that up so I can play that. And so, yeah, as we keep going, HBCUs are being attacked. They're being cut. And so it's more in here too. We're not done. The mission of historical black colleges. Focusing education and research on the black community. True. Overlaps with the Trump administration classifies as a legal DEI. Now, that doesn't make sense. That's misinformed education on the Trump administration because HBCUs, so historical black high schools, because I went to one for 4 years, Title One. I can bring people on; they can tell you stories. A historical black high school and a historical black college slash historical black college university (HBCU), historical black high school, are not that different, much of a difference. Like that's why I didn't want to go to HBCU after high school, even though I couldn't get into many colleges. I knew HBCU wasn't really on my radar because I already knew it wasn't much of a difference. Like I've been to Title One schools since elementary. I've been around African Americans since elementary. Um, but my high school was historical black. They followed the Booker T. They followed the Booker T. Washington model. For many out there who don't know that, and so the HBCU literally was founded on helping people like me and others. And so it's not really part of DEI if you ask me. It's not part it shouldn't be part of DEI. Um a historical black college mission is just like that's what you went to school because you couldn't go to HBC like people in that town couldn't go to college on the other side with white Americans. And so you had to go to HBCU and be around what your own people that look like you. Your teacher was black. Everybody was black. Everybody was black. African American. And so, yeah. Then, it gets more into the integration and then, but it's not part of DEI. HBCUs are not part of DEI. So that's not good education. And so, on the Trump administration at least. And so, as we keep going, so it says, citing Trump's executive orders banning DEI in government grants. Federal agencies said that research supported by the federal government must be open to all and cannot privilege or exclude any demographic groups. So yeah, we know about that. So, that quote at least, that's they just talking about DE. I thought it was something else with HBCUs right now because we talking about HBCUs. It says HBCU presidents. HBCU presidents argue their institution's research is beneficial to everyone. The standard explanation administrators often see in grant termination letters is that their research or grant proposals no longer align to the priorities of the federal agency. Howard University, the nation's only HBCU currently classified as a research one, has lost at least $11 million in federal grants. So remember I said the Trump administration, they are coming for universities. Now, yeah, HBCUs too, they're coming for all universities. Now, my thing is, you know me, I'm gonna get onto the community. I won't speak on no other demographic but my demographic. If I speak on another demographic, it's briefly, and I would just have to like get a perspective and ask other people how their culture and demographic is, because now Howard University, guys, remember when we had that brief stint of, this is gonna hit home. Remember we had a brief stint of everybody supporting HBCUs, right? Everybody was like, HBCUs this, HBCUs that. Everybody needs to go to HBCU. They had celebrities, entertainers donating a lot of money to HBCUs, supposedly. Now, I'm just asking where the money went. I'm just asking. Because, and I think that was around 2020, around the pandemic time. And I didn't really like it because they're telling kids to go to HBCUs, right? African Americans, right? According to Georgia State, because a lot of research is based on African Americans at Georgia State. So yeah, Georgia State could be hit too. We'll find out. I'll know more details in school, but right now I don't know nothing. And so it says always African Americans are less to get this. African Americans are less to get that. African Americans are less to get this. Now, why I feel a lot of things, so forgive me for ranting, but it's related to this. I feel some type of way about it, for one, because I feel like I've been researched on a lot without knowing it. Because I'm not the only person from poverty. Like in our community, right, we see a lot of rappers, entertainers, ball players who come from poverty, Section 8, right? And so they have all this data, granted, on us, right? All this data, Georgia State, because that's what they do. And all the research, every time I used to read about African Americans, is that, oh, we have less. Like, we are more likely to go into student loan debt than another demographic, like white, for example, right, or whatever. And to mention too, a fun fact, if anybody plays this back and watch it, we are actually, African Americans have actually been surpassed as far as like going to college. The Hispanic demographics have passed us in going to college, by the way. And I believe the Asian demographic is number one. We are like number three. Hispanics are like we are like number four. Hispanics are number three. Whites are number two. Asian demographics are number one, if I'm not mistaken. And we are always, when I read articles, we always have lists, right? And so these schools, these HBCUs, right, they got all that money from celebrities and entertainers, supposedly. And I don't know where the money went. I don't know where the money went. Somebody had to come on the channel and shut me up and tell me, oh, it went here and went there or whatever, because I don't know where that money went. Even we talked about that in graduate school. It was a topic of discussion. And I didn't understand that, because that was a lot of money, guys. There's more light in here. That's a lot of money that was being tossed into the HBCUs. And so, yes, they're going to lose $11 million in grants, Howard University. And so, or they have lost $11 million in federal grants. But Howard has, once again, They have sports programs. Why can't they just use the sports program money to cover the 11 million in federal grants? Or why they can't get the celebrities to just, this is the time to come forward as a community, if I'm not mistaken, go to like HBCUs, right? Go to all the African Americans who have money. Go to who have the money. Go ask the African Americans who are millionaires and billionaires. We have those. And tell them to, hey, we need Howard University, for example. They need $11 million to do federal grants. Here's $11 million for the federal grants. Here's Tennessee State University has lost more than 20 million. All right, Tennessee State. This is relating to research, right? Tennessee State University. Y'all need 20 million. What's the name? They can give you 20 million. And then, if I'm not mistaken, it should be a tax write-off for the celebrities, entertainers that have that type of money to, give out. But I don't know that for sure because I'm not a CPA. Disclaimer: I'm not a CPA, financial advisor as well. And so North Carolina A&T, they're on the brink of losing North Carolina A&T was on the brink of R1 status, which is very good, like we just talked about. They have lost more than $24 million in research money. And so they don't say who. Oh, they got her name. It says, we are still calculating our loss, said Melissa Hodge Penn, the university intern vice chancellor of research, because we have been receiving terminations each week. So it says right here that to obtain a Research 1 status, a university must spend at least $50 million on research and confer at least 70 PhDs a year. The 13 HBCUs seeking that classification say it could usher in more funding for research on the Black community, larger federal contracts, and more resources to attract faculty and students, which is true. When you have more research and more students of that demographic, our demographic, can relate to. And that's crazy that Howard was classified as the only Research 1 HBCU. I didn't know that. That is crazy. They are classified as the only one. Hold on, guys, real quick, because it's a little dark. Hey, get some light. We had no light. So, yeah. What we were saying, we back. So, HBCU, Howard, the only Research 1 school, is kind of crazy. But there are other schools out there, guys, that's similar to Georgia State that are Research 1. And honestly, Georgia State felt like a HBCU, to be honest with you. It feels like one with the research, the culture. It feels like that. And so if you're looking for ways to go to a Research 1 school, Henry, you just learned about Research 1 and you want to study on African Americans and like help advance the research for your culture, for our culture. And when I talk like that, guys, I'm just talking because I'm reading as if I'm studying it and breaking it down. And so that's just a natural habit when I'm breaking things down and talking. Don't think I don't understand my culture. Please don't think that. I got Jay-Z in the back. The music, if you listen to my music taste, you'll probably be surprised by my music taste. But yes. So Research 1 is very important if you want to advance yourself. And let's keep going because to attain research, we talked about that. So some HBCU advocates say the president didn't intend to hurt institutions. Some HBCU advocates have said the president did not intend to hurt the institutions. Trump for years, I quote, this is by Chronicle Higher Education when I read it. It says Trump for years touted his support for HBCUs. He signed an executive order this spring calling for more investment in them. HBCU advocacy organizations like the United Negro College Fund and the Thurgood Marshall College Fund are working with the administration to safeguard HBCUs. They are also trying to create distance. They are also trying to create distance from the idea that the work done by their institutions falls under the umbrella of DEI. That's what I was trying to tell you guys. Like I didn't even read that far, but it's just different. Like HBCU, like the bar, I honestly believe, like, because I went to a historical black high school, that contributed to my standards of being high. And that played a role significantly because my mom, my dad, first and foremost, you know, they are African Americans. And so, and my TT, who's like a second mom to me, and my Uncle Tico, they they always had high standards. Now my TT, she lived in the time of segregation, so her standards were very high for me and my brother, cousin brother, but call him brother now. And the standards were very high. Like he used to read books. She understood early how powerful books were, and from my background with my parents, they instilled not as much as the education part, but more of a hard work. And then I started learning like I can't just work hard all the time because I can see that gets you nowhere, right? You can work hard and still have nothing. And so, but it started with my parents. They were very disciplined. Like don't wait on nobody. My dad was real big on don't wait on nobody. Do it yourself if you can. And then my mom was more of like, don't follow nobody, be your own person. And everything else started coming. And so when I went to school, I had that same approach, right? Standing myself. And I got good friends. Well, I call them brothers now, the ones I still talk to from high school. And I joined JRTC when I was in high school. My colonel, he was African American. My first sergeant, African American. My sergeant major, African American. Everybody was African American. I always seen people like me or look like me, right? And so that's why I said I never felt that problem that people were talking about today, all this other stuff we have going on today, or questioning if you're really African American. Like, no, it's just more embedded in me and having standards for myself. Of course, because we're talking about HBCUs, right? And like I said, historical black high school is no different from an HBCU. That's why most people who go from a historical black high school, they go to HBCU because, you know, you just stay in that community. You know, no different from going if a white person goes to, no different from a white person going to PWIs and staying in their group or their institution of schools their whole life, right? It's no different. And so it's just really big communities, just like you go on YouTube and you find your communities, right? So right here, that's not important. This one seems so. It says regardless of what Trump wants, HBCUs now face a complicated ultimatum. One administrator said federal agencies have issued instructions to change language in grant applications that explicitly focus on black people. Let's change that. Read that again. One administrator said federal agencies have issued instructions to change language in grant applications that explicitly focus on black people. Doing so could preserve access to vital research funding, but at what cost? One administrator said federal agencies, I'm not going to say one administrator, federal agencies have issued instructions to change language in grant applications that explicitly focus on. They said they want to change language in grant applications. So the federal agency, which is probably the Department of Education, saying they should change their language in grant applications that explicitly focus on black people. interesting, but definitely a topic of discussion, right? That's a topic of discussion. Like, if we have built African Americans, if we have built our schools and we want to get more research for our culture, I think we should be able to do that, right? And I've been talking about this topic since, oh wow, it's a very long topic, but we definitely gonna probably hit 2 hours again because it's very, you have to really break it down because I still haven't got to what I want to talk about with certain things. And so it says if we abandon our mission and our sector, we will regret it, said Crystal de Gregory, an HBCU historian. Yeah, like I said, HBCU's mission is like, it's not DEI, it's a mission. Like, hey, this is our mission, vision, and it's just our school. Like, go look at like Booker T. Washington. Like the Booker T. Washington. Look, go look at it because he's the founder of Tuskegee University. It was like Tuskegee Institute at the time, but he's the founder of Tuskegee University. And yeah, so please check that out. Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois. Go check them out. And so they have very different perspectives. Please do not divide them. Like bring them together. Unity. That's also, I learned that in graduate school, that when we have people that look like us in power, remember we nonpartisan, but I understand my culture fully. Don't get it confused. That when you have people that look like us, African Americans, it's a term for it, a word for it, but we tend to divide them instead of unifying them. And we should always unify. And I think you should look at media for yourself and notice how much you see just simple like basketball, football, who's better, Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts. Oh, Jalen Hurts better because he got a ring. No, they're both better because they're both in the NFL and they're quarterbacks when there's a lack of percentage of quarterbacks of African Americans. So really, they're both great quarterbacks, no doubt, and they both make the playoffs and go far. And so it should be unified. You go look at basketball, it's the same thing. Who's better, LeBron or Michael Jordan? You go look at any other sport, off the top of my head, if you probably do track, it's a comparison. If you do any sport, and W.E.B. Du Bois were no different. And they, in the education world, they try to separate them as well. And you can't. They unified. And that's how we really are here, how we are today. It's very incredible and powerful. Makes you understand the power of education more as well. So shout out to those guys, man, for real. And so, but the thing about HBCUs is that, man, how do I start? All right, I'm going to read this last part. It says the bigger picture. HBCUs are at a pivotal moment per Chronicle Higher Education. It says HBCUs are at a pivotal moment. Many black colleges are closer than ever to realizing long-held dreams of becoming research powerhouses. If the federal government is no longer a reliable partner, what will they do? This is the time to unify. That's what HBCUs could do. HBCUs need to call on people who have money that look like us, or anybody who wants to support them. HBCUs have to do what these other universities are doing. These other universities are relying on their sports. If they can't rely on sports, you need to go and ask for help from leaders who have wealth and funds and money and negotiate. Don't just, of course, do your donor thing, presidents. But presidents, if we're paying you all this money at a HBCU right now, right? Because remember, presidents, it don't matter if it's an HBCU, it don't matter if it's a regular college, university, PWI, all presidents get paid that guap, that money, right? And so the presidents at the HBCU need to go do what they do best and get this money. That's what they need to go do. They need to go get this money and start relying on the government. It's the same thing. History repeats, right? We see how our people rely on the government and then it doesn't get you nowhere. Like I said, my standard is high. I can't rely on the government to get out of poverty. If I didn't do what I'm doing, y'all, I would still be where I was in poverty. I'm not saying I didn't have anything by far. My mom made sure I had a game system. My mom made sure I had a TV. I had my own room. I had a bed. It was the environment though, and that environment makes a difference. Because anybody from poverty, Section 8 should know the environment is different. Great people, great charisma, but that environment is some serious. But this is the time for HBCUs to, go get that money and stop relying on, like I said before, Howard needs $11 million for research. Go get that $11 million in federal grant money. I don't care. $11 million is $11 million. By means, if I had $100 million, I'll do it with no problem. But I don't have $100 million, sadly. But as I keep reading, it says the pool and the resources are now just getting that much smaller, and the compensation has just gotten that much stiffer, and the competition has gotten that much stiffer. True. If students are knowing that they don't have to go to if students find out that if you watch this YouTube, you watch this channel, what I talk about every day when I stream Monday to Friday, and you learn that your school, your HBCU is not becoming what they used to be. They're losing status pretty much. They're losing their credibility, which is more important. You're more inclined to go to another school that's more like, it could be PWI, but remember, just because your school is a PWI, if the demographic is backed by predominantly black students, African Americans, your school is pretty much a PBI, even though it was originally a PWI. So students are going to go to those schools like Georgia State, right? But Georgia State, for example, could be on the attack too, right? Because they do a lot of their research can relate to DEI. So are they switching their words? It's like really nobody's safe and getting hit, because like I said, HBCU shouldn't even be hit by DEI first and foremost. But let's keep going. The pool and resources are now getting that much smaller, and competition has just gotten that much stiffer, said Quincy Quick, a vice president for the research at Tennessee State. Because now everybody's going to be kicking over every rock, looking in every pretty much crack, closed door to find resources to support our research enterprise, right? And so, yeah, HBCUs, man, they are bearish. They are going downhill. But as I said before, it was everything from university. It don't matter if it's a university. It don't matter if it's a HBCU. Let me clarify. It doesn't matter if it's a PWI university or PBI, Asian demographic, whatever university. It doesn't matter if it's HBCU, right? They all have these broken flaws of charging students too much money. And I get that you have to keep the lights on in the building. I get that you have to make your money, but at the same time, when you have a bad structure, a president's making, you imagine that you paid a president $1 million, right? So if you've been paying presidents $1 million for the past 10 years, that's $10 million easy. You see what I'm saying? That could have been more money pocketing back in case of something like this happening. Colleges should be ran like a business. If you got a business or your personal life, it's the same thing. You need to have a what? Emergency fund. Because you never know who might come, like the Trump administration, right? And so, once again, I feel no sympathy for colleges. Nonetheless, if I say that right, I feel no sympathy for colleges or HBCUs or universities or HBCUs. I don't feel no sympathy for them. We talked about this years ago. Nobody listened. So the videos were out there. Somebody could say that they didn't know, which is understandable. But you can know now. And as a student, you can pivot and go to a school that's going to serve you, because you have to, like my person in here, G, as he say, he wanted to go to schools that was going to pay him. And so that's how you got to keep this mindset as a student, because at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for your pockets as a person, as a student, a scholar. Because athletes, I always talk about athletes as a former athlete, they're going to be good. They're getting paid in college. They're going to be good. At least right now they're getting paid in college. It might go away as fast as it comes. And so you got to do what's best for you, man. Don't go to a school because it's a HBCU. just because, oh, they're for me, they're the culture. Like my mama say, trust no one. You know, that's real. You show respect, but trust no one, because at the end of the day, you got to go to a school that's gonna give you a great return on your investment. Even though you would love to spread the word about a school that everybody should go to or everybody should come to the HBCU, if they're losing their status of power, I'm sorry, I said one in my class, that's what we called it. HBCUs are losing their power, their status as they were getting close to being an R1. Now they're potentially going to lose. They're not even going to be a R1 now. It's kind of out of the question, except for Howard. That's not your problem as a student. That's not your problem. That's anybody who was working there. That's their problem. The same way they would lay off somebody and get rid of somebody is the same way you be like, well, that's my problem. I just got to transfer schools and go to a school that's going to serve you. It's business at the end of the day. It's laws of power, 48 laws of power. Everybody talk about that book. I have not read that book. But it's laws to this. You have to really move. I never took it personal when I went to college. It's nothing personal. It's all business, right? When I pay for my class, I expect a great education. I expect to learn something, innovation. I expect to gain something. If I'm paying you $2,000 to $3,000, because I could have definitely put that in the stock market. I'm just saying. So, nothing personal. All right, universities are liquidating. This was funny to me because, once again, I said universities should have been changing their structure. They should have been changing their business structure. You paying all the presidents, you're paying all the execs. My bad for the rocking. You're paying the presidents, you're paying the execs. Everybody's making the money, the moolah, but you're slicing and cutting the day-to-day people who work on the floor for you. I don't get it. And what I mean by that, so guys, remember I talked about this, right? The execs and the presidents make a lot of money. Instead of them lowering their pay, like, hey, maybe a college president should make $250,000 a year. Maybe an exec should only make about $150,000, $120,000 a year, right? They're making more money than people in corporate who work at financial institutions like banking. Once again, Trump administration, keep your foot on them, keep your foot on them, keep pressuring them until they want to really change. And so, prime example would be a school called Western Washington University. Never heard of this school. Obviously, it should be in Washington, but we're going to see. Let's see. Western Washington University. Bellingham, Washington, if I said it right. So, Western Washington University, what logo is this? What they look like? I never heard of this school. It's like a blue school. So, Western Washington University will eliminate its student affairs division. Guys, if you are getting ready to go to college or you are in college, that's a big deal. Your student affairs is usually like your recruitment specialist, admissions, your financial aid. Now they saying they're eliminating it. Now they might keep the financial aid. You got to keep that, right? But they saying they're getting rid of that department and moving it under the office of the provost. So they're going to keep pretty much the main people. You know how when a job says you're going, everybody goes except for probably financial aid and admissions. We'll probably keep 2 people in admissions, which means they're going to pile the work up on people, which is going to be a headache for whoever they do keep. And so, yes, these are extreme measures of liquidating because they're trying to scrape up money. Because right here it says the university staring down a $23 million budget hole. The institution will also reduce its athletic director to a halftime position. Once again, athletic directors make a lot of money usually in higher education. Why? I don't know. Why does an athletic director get paid more than a person like who's an academic advisor, admissions, and they literally work with the students on a day-to-day basis? One day it would make sense, but it doesn't. I don't think it will ever make sense, but yeah. So they're taking extreme measures. They're not the only ones. They said University of Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken, UConn. They just won the NCAA championship girls, and they've been winning boys basketball. Woo, right? That school. The university and its health system will eliminate jobs, restrict hiring, and use one-time funds to close a daunting 134 million budget cap in 2026 fiscal year. UConn has been hit by steep declines in both federal grant funding and state appropriations. So I guess all that money they made in March Madness wasn't nothing. Because I think they don't want to split that money. I guess the athletic department don't want to split that money with the school. So if you going to UConn for sports, you wasn't really getting a good education. Dang. So that made me feel good. You know, I take pride in my education. That means I'm pretty intelligent, more intelligent. So when I step up against somebody like you went to the University of UConn, I'm gonna tell them like, look, you ain't credible. Y'all been getting hit. Apparently, y'all been getting hit by declines in grant funding, research slash federal grant funding, and state appropriations since it said higher ed drive. I will have to get. They didn't put the since when, but y'all been declining apparently. Cash infusion. I really didn't understand this one, but it says for a son of I'm gonna put it in the group chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you all because y'all know me. I'm gonna definitely put it in here for you all if I can't pronounce that. And so that school though, Sanamoya State University, if I said that right. In a surprise move, the state of California has pledged $45 million to help the struggling public university find its footing, which is good because when the state helps you, that's usually good. Because you know, worse come to worse, you know, government just helps, and you know, nobody can overthrow the government, right? Right. So they said they announced that college, Sanamoya State, had announced plans to shut down all of its sports programs, close 6 academic departments, and lay off more than 60 employees as it tried to remake itself amid a budget shortfall. New money will restore some athletics and academic tracks while funding new programs. If I was anybody that was going to that school that I just put in the chat and you're in California, I would not go to that school. I would go, if you got 2 years left, go. But if you are an incoming freshman and you plan on going to that school, I would not go to that school. You heard me say it right here. And if I said that right, it's Sanamoya State University. I would not go to that school. Any school that barely is making it by and they're getting money from the government, that can be changed in one administration. Literally like what's going on now. Oh, we taking it back. Like if they say if a new governor comes in, because that's who usually makes that decision. Usually, depending on how they structure it, new governor comes in, give me that. We need that $45 million. We're going to put it toward healthcare. Gone. So, guys, I just gotta say, I wish I had this information when I was coming up. Like somebody telling me stuff about schools, breaking it down. It's crazy out here, and it's not gonna get better. And this was funny to me though. This was funny. So Pennsylvania College plans art auction. So Albright College, guys. I heard of that college before, but Albright College is planning an art auction. They are planning in this. If this doesn't sound like you're going broke, this is going bankruptcy 101. Literally, when rich people, wealthy people go, you know, they're filing bankruptcy. That's what they do. Sell art. Hey, some of y'all got to get laid off. I put my house up for auction. For sale. It says Albright would sell off most of his art collection as part of his plan to close a growing budget deficit. Y'all been spending all that money. I don't know you got a sports program, making all that money, spending all that money, and y'all got to do an art collection sell off. The auction isn't expected to be a major moneymaker, but the private college has struggled to cover storage and preservation costs, resulting in damage to an unspecified portion of the collection. What have y'all been doing the whole last day? Hey, I've been out of high school since 2017. What have y'all been doing since then? Man, I told you it was coming. Told you it was coming. Told you it was coming. Told them it was coming. I said it. Go watch my videos. I've been posting for like 2 or 3 years. I said this was gonna happen. I gotta own this moment. I said this was gonna happen. I don't know when it was gonna happen, just like the stock market, but I said everything that's happening now, I said it was gonna happen. Go watch my old videos, please. Or show it to some people. Because what his name? Like Kendrick said, the truth about to get loud. I said these colleges were gonna be in a terrible predicament if anything ever happened, and your job is at risk if you work at a university. I said that. Now everybody trying to switch the perspective of, oh, save money. How can we save money for students? Man, you gotta cut them salaries. You gotta minimize them salaries. You gotta put caps on them salaries. You gotta do tuition freezes. And it's gonna be cases where they gonna have to let kids go to school for free. Because you just gonna have to get kids talking about, oh, I'm learning this at school, but it's only like, they're only letting 100 students in for free. Because remember, one of the live screens, we talked about schools negotiating with regular students to get them to come to school because their prices are getting so high. Like the financial aid pack, they're offering negotiation package through the financial aid packages. That's nothing new. It's just my financial aid person could break that down more. And so, guys, I laugh at that. Like Albright College, Pennsylvania College plans art auction. They are going broke out here. These universities are broke. Really bad. You wanna know the bad part about it? It's gonna be hard for them to get some real money because they are so political and they cut. Now, why you think these honorary doctoral degrees might help? Like, oh, remember you spoke at the school? You know, you can slide us about 5 million. You know, we need that 5 million right now. I don't know. Yep. They were so political. They wouldn't work with certain industries and stuff, which I understand because all money ain't good money, but y'all need some money. And so Oklahoma colleges seek tuition hikes. I didn't know that Oklahoma was also doing it. So 15 of, did somebody comment? Did I miss it? Okay, no. Okay, just making sure. 15 of the states, 25 public institutions as, I just said this word. I just know how to say this word right. Hold on. Where is it? I was saying this word wrong all yesterday, y'all. And I feel bad because I said it wrong all yesterday on the live screen. There we go. Regent. So, regents, I was saying Reagans. Regents, it says right here that 15 other states, 25 public institutions asked regents to approve tuition increases for the 2026 fiscal year. I was about to say fiscal year, including the flagship University of Oklahoma, which requested a 3% hike. Kevin Stitt, the state's Republican governor, said earlier this month that he thought rising tuition. So Kevin Stitt, the state's Republican governor, said earlier this month that, and they got the citation, that he thought raising tuition was unnecessary, which it is. Like I said, you got a lot of people in there who don't understand higher education. Like they won't hire nobody like me who understands, because I am considered a non-traditional mindset in higher education. Everybody you see struggling right now, universities, those are traditional mindsets. If you heard me speak, if you line me up on the panel of higher education professionals, I would sound crazy compared to them. And they would side at me like, what is he talking about? So real quick, It was something I was about to do. I guess it wasn't that important. But these schools doing these hikes, Oklahoma, no surprise. It's no surprise. But they don't need to hike. A hike is not going to solve anything. It's going to make students not want to go to school. A hike, like you raising my tuition, is not going to make me want to go to school even more. It goes back to my theory. That's what I was going to do. So my theory, remember y'all, not my theory, my thesis. My thesis. Now, my thesis could sound a little crazy still. Most people might not agree with my thesis, but I think my thesis is pretty good. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. If you are liking, if you watch it and you play it back, please like and subscribe. Let me know how we doing. Like and subscribe. Please, please, please. Keeps us going, keeps you going. You come in, you watch a little bit, you leave. You know, get some of that education, right? My thesis, remember, is college is becoming unaffordable, which will raise the value of college. I think I believe in the long term. In the long term, it should raise the value. Hit a rough patch, hit a little dip if we're in the market, like we're hitting a dip right now, and then but people will start realizing the value of it once AI comes and robotics and stuff like that, where you have to go to college, and so that's going to raise the value of college, but college will still be unaffordable. So, still playing the long game a little bit. But right now, they are liquidating. And so, shout out to a Republican governor out of Oklahoma. Shout out to Kevin Stitt. I believe that's how he says his last name. Shout out to him, man. Because he didn't even feel like it was necessary. He's a Republican, right? But he even feel like, hey, man, I don't think it's necessary. He's like, I don't think it's necessary to raise this tuition. I don't think that's really gonna solve the problem. So yeah, man, they need to figure that out. They really need to get to work, do some restructuring, because it's looking bad out here for them. It's looking real bad. So while Indiana colleges hold the line, the state's 15 public colleges will freeze tuition for the upcoming academic year. Mike Braun, could be saying it wrong. Mike, the state's Republican governor. So Mike Braun, I'm definitely pronouncing that last name wrong. Watch it be like, come on. On the Google, guys, give me a few seconds.
Braun.
Oh, I said it right, Braun. Mike Braun. So he is the Mike Braun. He is the governor of Indiana. Yes. Governor of Indiana. So the state's 15 public colleges will freeze tuition. Shout out to Indiana colleges. Hold the line. See, everybody should be taking the same approach right now. Everybody should be saying this right now. I think everybody should follow this move. Tuition freeze. Honestly, it should be a universal tuition freeze. I think some colleges, like if a college is already affordable, you should raise your tuition. If you're already affordable and students are paying with ease, y'all not having no problems, you should raise your tuition right now. You have the leverage, right? Not too much, but just right to be like, okay, I get it. But everybody else who's over expensive, like these universities, once again, this is another reason to go to a 2-year instead of a 4-year. While universities are under attack, colleges, higher ed is under attack, first and foremost. You should start at a 2-year. Affordable. They have not been getting hit the most. They've been getting supported the most. And then you should bridge to a 4-year, because that gives you 2 years for all of this to die down. And so the state's 15 public colleges will freeze tuition for the coming academic year. And Mike Braun, the state's Republican governor, requested the freeze weeks. He requested the freeze weeks after approving a budget that delivers funding cuts of at least 5% to state universities. My goodness. Requested the freeze weeks after approving a budget that delivers funding cuts at least 5% to state universities. Wow, the Republican governors I don't know, man. And remember, I said Chronicle Higher Education is perceived to be a left wing media outlet, but man, they are highlighting the Republican governors. Like that is a good, like, man, you know me. If they doing stuff wrong, I don't mind you cutting the budget 5% to state universities, because once again, it makes them do right. They make a lot of money, man. They make a lot of money. And there's no reason why these colleges should be in this situation. You know, you're supposed to be helping students go to school, get a great return on investment, seeing them grow and flourish and put more money back into the American economy. You can't put more money back into the American economy if everybody's getting debt and they can't really go spend the money. They can't really go buy a car. They can't really start a family. It's a real big trickle effect, right? Like I mentioned sometimes, college is your most expensive purchase, especially if you go into bigger schools out the gate. It's one of your biggest expenses, one of your most prized possessions. Like, this is not a joke. That's why we do this. Like, you need to get this info before you step on the college campus, while you're a freshman in high school, while you're in 6th grade. I don't care if your parents watching, they gotta know so they can tell you what to do. This is real deal information. And remember, I always relate it back to the student. Like, you should definitely go. This is why you should definitely go start at a 2-year, then bridge to a 4-year. And then, if you got more detailed questions, we can help navigate that, right? And what you should do. But generally speaking, 2-year to 4-year, articulation agreement, pathway plan, not pathway plan, but ask your school if they have an articulation agreement with your dream 4-year. That's that 2-year that. Because you can always get to your dream school by starting at a 2-year first. I don't think most people know that. Like, if I can go back, if I had a person like me talking right now, I would have went and talked to different 2-years about, hey, if I knew I had a dream 4-year, I would ask actually, I'll make it easy on myself. I'll ask the 4-year that my dream school 4-year, if it's affordable, because I want you to go to affordable 4 years as well. I would ask the 4-year, hey, what partnerships do you have, or articulation agreements, pathway agreements, do you have with a 2-year college? Because I'm trying to save money in school. What 2 years can you recommend? They have a list of 2-year schools. No surprise. It's not surprising at all. So, yes, once again, y'all, we predicted this. We said this was coming. And so, as we keep going, Linda McMahon tours UNC. So I wanted to talk about that because y'all know, man. Y'all know I like Linda, man. Y'all know I like Linda, man. Linda be lending. Linda be lending. I don't know as a word because it ends with an A. Oh, I got this. Linda be lending. That's what I'm gonna start saying. Linda be lending, man, because every time I look up, Linda doing something, saying something, and she'll tell you straight like this if she don't know something. She like, I don't know. I ain't answering it. Because she be saying that when I don't know if it's Congress or House, when she got to go talk before like a board of them, she be like, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. And they can say that, but it'd be funny because it's like, they really don't like what the Trump administration is doing, but I'm just in favor of them, put pressure on these universities, man. Like, they making too much money. So where it comes into play is, I find a little humor out of it, as you know me, that Linda, which is our Secretary of Education for many who don't know, she went in toward the beautiful facilities at UNC, University of North Carolina, home of where, for all my people who know, where Michael Jordan went to college, Tar Heels. She went there and toured the beautiful facilities with the Chancellor, Chancellor Roberts. And in the comment section too, people are saying, "Oh, it's a beautiful campus, but the atmosphere and curriculum is bump full woke." Oh my! They said, "Oh, they this person in here is talking about their this CRT, DEI, SEL, queer theory. This is on X, and they're like defund UNC. Oh wow. But it's got some, they got some different type of comment sections in there. And so, and that was all a quote. You can go find this post on X. Linda is touring UNC. So, but what I'm getting at is they're kissing up. Like UNC is like kissing up, like, hey, don't defund us. Hey, how can we get these grants, Linda? Linda, make it happen. Because honestly, if you work with Linda, if you are a college or anything, like you can really get your grants through if you really just cooperate and get the deal done. And so they're scared. It's okay to be fearful. It's okay. You know, trying to get her on board. And Linda, I don't know why she toured the University of UNC because they've been slashing stuff. So I'm trying to figure out why she even toured there, though. That's really the big idea I'm trying to get at. Why did she go to UNC? Knowing that if they doing DEI stuff and all that, why she go there? Why did she tour UNC? That's the real question. Why did Linda tour the University of North Carolina Tar Heels? And yeah, she went and toured there, and I just really want to know why. I just really want to know why. So, but she didn't speak on she didn't speak on it no more. It wasn't really nothing else to it. She didn't really say anything. And please go check out Department of Education website. They are saying that you can learn. The Department of Education is saying you can learn more ways about your financial aid this upcoming fall for this upcoming school year. So please go check that out and see what they are adding or what's the new process or faster process for you to get your financial aid done. If you want to apply for financial aid, everybody should apply for their financial aid because you never know what you can get. No matter how much money you have as a family, no matter how much you don't have, or if you're middle income, always apply for financial aid because you never know what you can get. So, yes. So, I'm look into that. It says something per Inside Higher Ed says something about a launch of new accreditor. DeSantis announces launch of new accreditor. Florida governor announced the state is launching its own accrediting body, supposedly. So that's something to look into. Something to look into, guys. You know me, I'm gonna look into everything. And so I don't see any new posts out here for our career field. Let's go to LinkedIn. And I don't see anything, guys. Let me see. Is that? They said right here, some guy, he's a professor and department head at the University of Texas, at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. He said the University of Tennessee system is joining 6 other red state public university systems led by North Carolina to explore a new accreditation option for public higher education. It seems like he said right here, I don't know if this is him talking, but I'm gonna read a little bit. He says, I want to make you aware of an evolving effort that the University of Tennessee system has been invited to engage in alongside several other public university systems across the South. The effort involves exploring a new accreditation option designed specifically for public higher education. University of Tennessee system has joined with the Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Texas A&M, and South Carolina university systems to support the formation of the Commission for Public Higher Education, an accredited body that will offer an additional pathway for institutions to ensure academic quality, operational effectiveness, and student success. This collaboration is still in early stages and is years away from full implementation. However, it reflects a shared interest in introducing more choice, accountability, and transparency into the existing accreditation landscape. Ultimately, this would require approval by the Federal Department of Education. And more on that, guys. That's very insightful. It's more to it, but I don't really like to dig that deep, right, and read to you all, because I know a lot of y'all can read, but I'm on LinkedIn, so if anybody wants to go on LinkedIn and follow me, I usually repost things on LinkedIn, where I also repost it on my business account, which is Speaking on Behalf. So LinkedIn is Henry Felton III, and then I got a LinkedIn account, which is Speaking on Behalf. I run them together pretty much, but it's a lot of professionals on LinkedIn, and I feel like I'm in higher education, and I want to talk about what I believe in. I have to be with the sharks, right? The supposedly more professionals who supposedly know more than me. So, keyword supposedly. So it's supposed to be a new accreditation going on. It's years away, but in the Trump administration, it could get approved because Linda, we just talked about Linda. She could approve it. I don't know much. I don't know a lot about this new accreditation system, but I need to find out. And so, and I need to talk to some people who do know more than me, because people do know more than me in this career field. I'm not an expert by far. I'm an expert at navigating higher education and knowing what you should know. Let me say I'm an expert, but I know people who know more than me. Let's run with that. Let's just run with that. Let's run with that. I'm an expert. I'm gonna own it. I'm an expert, because I predicted this years ago, that everything with universities was going to happen. So yeah, that is and do we got any new? Nope, pretty much same stuff. So our college that we're about to break down real quick for my people in the chat. I see we got some people in here. Shout out to you. Let me show you some love because you're in the chat. Oh, G, I did not see you in there. Oh man, I feel bad, G. How long this comment was in here? I feel bad. I've been pretty good, G. Started the stream later. Had to go do some stuff. Had to go take pictures. Oh, about 2 minutes. Okay, I feel a little better. I feel a little better now. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, G, we've been talking about some stuff, man. First half we talked about HBCUs, and then the second part we talked about liquidating. And so the second part we talked about universities are liquidating. Pretty much I was roasting these universities. I was definitely roasting them, because one of the universities are doing to give you an insight, they're doing an art collection to scrape up money, which is hilarious because it's a college, and like I said, they pay their presidents millions, they pay their execs almost millions, depending on the structure. They pay athletic directors millions, so it's kind of funny right now. And we talked about Linda. Linda be Linda. I said Linda be lending. That's what I said. She be lending because she went to the university. She went to the University of North Carolina, which is the Tar Heels, And I don't know why she went there, because I seen one on the comment section of X. I be on X a little bit, and Linda, one of the people in the comment section said they do a lot of DI and what a DI. It said queer theory and all this other stuff on X. It was this person commenting. They were going in, and I don't understand why she's there, because if they're doing all the stuff she doesn't like, the Trump administration's agenda, then are they trying? I was thinking they're trying to negotiate with her, to not cut their funding, their research funding. But it was interesting. It was funny and interesting, because I'm like, uh, you know. But we are going to do our review on Auburn as our last school, unless something magically comes up and this chat just starts jumping. That's because they play hard nose for a front. Yeah, they do, don't they, G? They do. And so, let's review Auburn. So, if you are new here, we review a college, preferably a university, at the end of every screen. And my ultimate goal is, of course, this will require me to work weekends. I would have to. My goal is to cut up every university I review and put it into a playlist for you, so you can go watch it and then go compare the numbers for yourself too. But you'll have each school with a rating or a review at the end. So I think that's gonna be very helpful, right? Because I don't feel like you can find that anywhere. So, and I seen G said something else. That's a good idea. I appreciate that, G. Has it not been jumping? No, it hasn't been jumping today, G. Normally, when it gets toward the end of the week, a lot of people. I feel like because I miss my normal time. YouTube doesn't really. YouTube punishes you when you don't stay consistent with your time. They punish you a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And so, usually when I do it at my time and my industry I'm in for education, yeah. So yeah. And so it kind of was like, hold on, wait, you starting at 12 o'clock. You usually start at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. So yeah, they getting me right now. Yeah, you know about that stuff. You in the computers and tech, you know. So we should be good tomorrow. Tomorrow Friday. Yeah, we should be good tomorrow. And we'll be on our normal time tomorrow. And then let's go ahead and do Auburn. Where is Auburn? Auburn. Where's my college scorecard? Because we got this request yesterday from Alice Marie. And don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Whoever's in the chat watching, like and subscribe or share word of mouth. Hey, this guy talks about higher education. And don't forget to mention, he was right about 2 or 3 years ago about these colleges were going to fall apart. Don't forget to mention that part. And please invite me on your podcast. If you know somebody doing podcasts, interviews, please recommend me. Speaking on behalf, guy, you should check them out. Recommend me, because I like word of mouth, guys. I'm a little old school. I've been there before. What you mean, G? You been there before? I was talking a little fast. What you mean you been there before, G? For what? What you been there before for? Talk to me. There are not many in your space doing podcasts. I know, right? I'm gonna have to do cross collaboration and stuff. Yep, I'm gonna have to do like cross. I think that's gonna be my idea. I don't want to do like. I do not want to be like entertainment though. I don't want that fan base. I really want to get educated people, or people seeking the information. And so, and I really appreciate that, G. You don't know, G. I really appreciate you, G. You don't know how much I appreciate you, man. Because usually I would be talking to crickets if it wasn't for you, Alice Marie, and whoever else is that third person that be in here. A frontier guy before. What you mean by frontier? You been a frontier guy before? What's frontier? While I wait on G real quick before we do our review. Oh, Forerunner. I ain't gonna lie. I listen to you on one device and watch you another. You listen to me on two devices? You watch me on two devices? Oh man, that's crazy. I appreciate that. Ah, so you like the other person. So you've been the two people in here watching, right? So you've been the two people. Oh, that's how you know that work like that. I just thought about that. I was like, oh, you watch me on one another? Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It helps. I appreciate that. Because you don't got to do that. I appreciate that. And I know you busy. You're a busy person. So, Auburn. Let's do Auburn University. I wonder, Auburn been doing pretty good, I think, though. I haven't been hearing nothing about Auburn, unless they just been real quiet, trying to stay out the way. It's just the best advice for every school right now. Staying out the way. But they have been real quiet. Auburn University, yep, Auburn, Alabama. Fun fact, I am not that far. My home city is not far from Auburn University. It's like 30-minute drive. Fun fact. Yeah, you a Southern boy. You a Southern boy. You should been to Auburn. You should been to Alabama at least once if you're a Southern boy, unless you're from Alabama. And you should have been to Florida, and you should have been to Georgia if you're from the South. You should have been. So let's get started. I got my calculator up. So Auburn University. Their graduation rate is 79%. It's a C. It's a C. It's not a B. Okay. Yeah. Good old Columbus, Georgia. And so, good old Columbus. Graduation rate, 79%. That's a C. It's out of 100%. As I said before, I don't confuse it. It's on a 100% scale. So, it's a 79. It's past the midpoint, though. It's past the midpoint. Pretty good, right? The average annual cost at Auburn University is $24,000, pretty much. And I don't think, no, we haven't. I thought about applying to a job at Auburn, but I didn't see I did see their prices, and the prices are crazy, though. The prices are crazy. I felt like it'd be a little hard to sell this school, especially in these times right now. So, Auburn University, Auburn, Alabama. What are y'all tuition and fees? Yeah. Tuition and fees. Not SoFi having their tuition and fees on here. SoFi has Auburn University tuition and fees. SoFi in the stock market has a lot of talk about them. I'm not into the SoFi company though. I'm not into SoFi at all. What you saying here, G? I see you typing. Oh, it's just easier. I've been to Auburn before. I've seen that part. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. That's what you do most days now, right? Or are you all in on YouTube? At the moment, until somebody picks me up, G, in the workforce, I am all in on YouTube. The goal is to get like a part-time job. I don't mind sharing my life with you all a little bit. Not too personal, but I don't mind sharing some because you have to know what I'm doing at least, right? You know you gotta be like, I'm not watching a guy who can't pay his bills, right? Not saying that doesn't mean I'm less of a person, but you gotta have your priorities right. And so right now, oh, it's good, man. Cause we just finding their prices, but before I get started, I'm still in the early stages. So I always gotta cherish your chats right now, right? Before it gets too late, and then the chat gets too big, then I can't really respond like I want to. So, all in right now on YouTube, looking for a job. Hopefully get something. Remember, got military, so we're not all the way in the dry, right? But we got some options, G. But just staying consistent with this. Yeah. Just trying to stay well, I will stay consistent. I'm not worried about not being consistent. I'm just like, hopefully it picks up at the right time. So we can make a look. Because if I make a little money with this G, I ain't going back to work at a 8 to 5, 7 to 4, whatever schedule I'm on. I'm not doing it. I can roll with this. Consistency is key. And that's why. Do you feel like, hey G, I have a question. Do you feel like when I before I do the breakdown of Auburn University, do you feel like when I live stream every day, is that a lot? Since you're like a busy person, have your own business, is that a lot, or you like that? You feel like that's good that I live stream Monday to Friday? I want to get your feedback on that real quick before we start. That's very important feedback too. Okay, perfect. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Bet. Just want to make sure. Just want to make sure. Make sure I'm going in the right direction. Listen to the fan base. Listen to the fan base. You are having a very okay. That's good. It's real good. Great. So, for the people who might fast forward, you can fast forward that part if you make it past that part. Very much fast forward as we was going. Yep. And so average cost is 24,000. If you wanted to fast forward a little too much and you want to backpedal a little bit, I'm at 24,000 if you skipping through. So 24,000, Auburn University. So we're fact checking their sticker price right now. That's what we're doing. We're fact checking their sticker price. Because remember, the U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard be off a little bit, but it be accurate for most part. And so that's why I have that tool in my description. And as I keep going, guys, and we keep advancing, I'm going to put a lot of credible things I feel like that can help you as a student or parent and guardian. I'm always going to put it in the description. But right now, this is the most helpful tool I feel like that can help any student get ready to go to college, already in college, trying to transfer, and much more, right? So, tuition and costs. Right here, we focus on undergraduate because we know graduate school and everything more is just more expensive regardless. And if you want to know some graduate stuff down the line, we can work our way toward that because I'm in graduate school too. So tuition and fees 2025 to 2026, it says that Alabama resident would pay $6,000. I'm going to say you're going to pay $6,700 for tuition and fees. I like that. It's so simple and flat. One thing I can like about schools, even though their prices is high, it's easy for me to find it. I love that. So now what I don't like what schools do, I have to read a little bit because I don't know if they're combining it for the school year or is that for one semester. So I always have to, sometimes it's good to call the school and ask them because some things can be misinterpreted on the website. And so the cost of attendance per Auburn University website, the cost of attendance is the estimated cost to attend a college or university for the fall and spring semesters of one academic year. So this is for one full academic year. So 6,700 guys is we round it, always round it because they probably will round it. So always round it, 6,700 for the year. What I like to do, you gotta divide that by 2 for fall and spring. So you looking at paying, oh, that's not bad at all. Okay, that's not bad at all. Oh, okay. So at Auburn University, you're looking at paying $33.50 for your fall and spring semester. That's with tuition and fees. Very good for a school of that prestige. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. And so, because remember, guys, your financial aid, if you get Pell, I always mention Pell first because that's most students. They say, "Oh, I got Pell." If you get the max, remember your max is like 7,000. Could go higher, could go lower, but it's 7,000 as of right now, I believe. And I know it's gonna be 7,000 because the one big beautiful bill that got took out of the one big beautiful bill, and so it's gonna be 7 grand or around that range. And so you're gonna be good that first year, and you should be good the next year. But like I said, I don't have my financial aid person on here, so or at least have him on here where I can learn from him as well. That's why I always want you all to be careful. Always do your research and go check the Department of Education or ask your financial aid person at your institution. If you don't feel like you can trust them, talk to somebody else who knows financial aid really well. But definitely for sure, you will be good your first year with financial aid because you're going to get about $3,500 per semester if you get the max. So now, where it gets tricky, if you stay on campus at Auburn University, you're looking at, for example, like on the high end with food, they got on campus with food, housing and food. I don't know if this is the high end or the low end. But you're looking at an estimate of per semester 8 grand, 8,600 divided by 2. You're looking at $4,000. And like I said, guys, I'm always usually accurate because they're going to throw in 2,000 for housing. Usually, that's like on the low end, and they're going to throw in another 2,000 for meal plans and stuff. For meal plans, 2,000, housing, 2,000. So, which comes out to about what, 4,000? That's on the low end. So for your now, this is where that's expensive, guys. That's expensive because then if you add 3 to that 4,300, remember I said 35. I said 33. I should have wrote that down. Do I got a history in here? I think not. So we're gonna do 4,300 for housing. Oops, for housing and food. 4,300. And then I'm gonna make sure because I love telling y'all the proper numbers. 6,700. Oh yeah, I said 30. So 6,700 divided by 2. Yeah. So 3,350 plus 4,300. So guys, if you stay on campus, and of course your tuition, you're looking at $7,650 for your first semester. So as I like to do as a person, that's gonna take all your financial aid in one trip. It's gonna take all your money. If you're using your own money, it's gonna take a lot of money. Unless your purchasing power is very good to like, oh, Henry, I can save up 7 grand and pay that every semester. Cool. Henry, at that time in college, I couldn't do that. My purchasing power at the most would have been like 2,000 per semester. I feel like, like, cause I'm still, cause the now, guys, disclaimer: I'm not a financial aid, not financial aid. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a stock market expert or nothing like that. So, but when I was in school, I was putting money into the stock market to help me make more returns on my money in college. So that's what I did with a lot of my refund checks and my money from my job to scale money. And so when I got out of school, because I knew I wasn't gonna be in a high demand career field or like a high income lucrative career field. So I wanted to get a head start on making money in college. And so keep that in mind. You always want to have money to spend on assets, right? So 7,650 times 2 is 15,300. That's how much you're looking at if you go to school and be a resident there. Of course, I'll never talk about if you're not a resident, don't go to school out of state unless it's in a certain radius where they consider you in state or they're offering you a great deal. So times 2 is 15,300. So 15,300, and they have different prices or different estimates. I would say if you stay off campus or living with a parent, I really never, on the side note, before I keep going with the breakdown, I never, this could be part of it, I never pay attention to off campus estimates or living with parent estimates. I only pay attention to the school on campus estimates, because how can a school estimate what my expenses are going to be at home, what my expenses are going to be off campus? How can they do that, right? They don't know my spending habits. They don't know that I'm investing. They don't know none of that. So only pay attention to on campus housing expenses. Do not get worked up when they try to tell you how much you're looking at and you stand off campus. They cannot estimate that. They don't know you. So you're looking at 15,300 according to their website, but according to the College Scorecard, you're looking at 24,000 for the year. So I don't know where the extra money coming in at, but remember, these are estimates. This is like their tuition and fees are probably the most accurate, and their housing and food is the most accurate for their because it's on their website. This is most accurate for housing and food on campus because they know that's what they're charging you, and their Alabama resident tuition and fees price. Those are the most accurate. And once again, once we keep upgrading, I can show you. So that's gonna make it a lot better. Can't wait for that part. And so they say when you go to Auburn, when you go to Alabama, people gonna get mad at that. So Auburn University says you can make after being a financial aid student, after 10 years being removed from the institution, you can make about $65,000 after being 10 years removed. That's like what you're expecting to make or work your way toward. That's how I look at it. Because I understand with different career fields, some people are not going to start out the gate making 65. They're going to work their way either to 65K or more or over that. So that's how much you can make going there. That's a great return. That's a great return on investment. If you stay off campus and go to Auburn University, that is a great return on investment. So, and it's over the midpoint. The midpoint for four-year colleges is $53,727. So the cost, where's the cost? We talked about the cost, the graduation and retention rate. We talked about graduation rate. Students who return after their first year, that's 90%. That's 93%. 93%. That's an A in my eyes. That's an A. Students going to return. Most students return after their first semester at Auburn University. Excuse me. I had a burp. Students receiving federal loans is 28%. 28%. That's good. Don't get no loans. And then the average typical debt after you graduate from Auburn University is 21K. That makes sense because they're charging you about 15K, at least estimated 15K per semester if you stay on campus. If you stay off campus, they're charging you what we said, $6,000. So remember, this school can be a great return on investment if you stay off campus. Great return on investment. We talked about the earnings. Is it any different information in there? They earn more than a high school graduate 81% of the time. That's a B. Sorry about that loud noise. Highway right there. So what else? Acceptance rate is 50%. Their acceptance rate is 50%. So guys, 50% is, on a 100% scale. Everybody can't get into a university. Like 2-year colleges have open admission policies. which means you're guaranteed to get into a 2-year college unless you have like a certain criminal background. You won't get in, but open policy, open admission is like in most 2-year colleges because they're supposed to be a way for people to go to school if they're not going to get into university, right? So it says right here that Auburn University considers SAT, ACT during application process, but does not require them. Remember, why they don't require SAT, ACTs no more, at least so far at public schools, I can't speak for privates or Ivies, is because, what I'm trying to say? Oh, they just don't because public schools know they need students. And students will go elsewhere when, I don't know who started it first. Maybe that would be a good fun fact to know. I don't know what college started that first in the pandemic. Like, hey, let's not do the SAT or ACT. Could have been a together thing. But if a school is offering me, hey, I don't have to, what's that I'm looking for? I don't have to take the SAT, ACT to go to your school. I'm gonna go to that school. You know, it's that simple. Especially if the school got good prices. So, that is pretty much what I rate Auburn. Believe it or not, Auburn is a B. Why? Because Auburn gets a B because if you stay off campus, looking at their resident tuition prices, if you stay off campus, you're only going to pay 33. You're only going to pay, where was it? 6,000. What we said? It's right here. I'm looking at it. 66.59 divided by 2. You're only going to pay 33.29 if you go to this school. And that's per semester. 33.29. Now, granted, you can go to a 2-year, it's cheaper. You can pay like 50% off of that or 75% off of that, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely 50% off. It'd be like a low 1,000 or 1,200. Like, and so now you can get cheaper prices, but they're saying, Auburn is saying you can get a great return on investment. And you know me, it's a B, but it'll be an A plus. It could be a higher grade if you can make this a higher grade as a person. Anybody who's considering Auburn University, if you start at a 2-year and you go to a school in Alabama, and then you bridge to a 4-year like Auburn, you will save an abundance of money, and hopefully you're in a pathway. You will save abundance of money starting at the 2-year, then bridge it to the 4-year, and hopefully you should still come out with no debt because you got to stay off campus. That's the main thing. You got to stay off campus, and you can get a good education and supposedly a great education. I don't get caught up in school names, as I talked about earlier in the live stream. I feel like we make the school. The school teaches you how to do things better if you want to, but we make the school. If you set yourself with high standards, it doesn't matter what school you go to me. But those resources, like we talk about with G, those matter. And a school like Auburn has good resources. I would hope they have great resources and good resources. So I seen G say something in the chat real quick before we keep going. A lot of schools made that decision because of the pandemic to offer a little reprieve. Is that reprieve? Gee, hold on. You and your big words. Reprieve. Don't say nothing yet, G. Hold on. Reprieve. Ah, reprieve. I said reprieve. I should have known it was reprieve. Reprieve. A lot of schools made that decision because of the pandemic to offer a little reprieve for students and just kind of stayed that way. Okay, yeah. That's pretty high, though. It is pretty high, but I do factor in that the school is in Alabama. And I just know, like, Alabama, it is pretty high. A B is pretty high. They should be a C, but yeah, they should be a C. But I'm going to give them a B because I know students will go to Auburn, and I know students should start at a 2-year. And they can really get it. That's a pretty good price though. I've seen some crazier prices. I think Troy University, if I'm not mistaken, tuition wise, I think Troy University is higher than Auburn University. Let me see. Let's see real quick. We'll look up this real quick. Just a little friendly competition between schools, right? I'm gonna see. We're just gonna look at tuition because we all know they campus and fees. So, Troy University has posted their 2025, 2026. So, Troy University said they charge $4.24 per credit hour. that got to be pretty high if they didn't say the price. So, $4.24. This is for undergraduate. Make sure I got the right prices. Yep, this is undergraduate. $4.24 times 12, because you're gonna take 12 credit hours. Yeah, Troy University is higher per semester. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. I thought Auburn would have been higher. Troy University is going to charge you $5,000 per semester, along with tuition. That doesn't even include fees. So 5,000 times 2 is $10,000 per semester with tuition only. It's crazy. I didn't know that. That's crazy. I thought Auburn would have been higher. So Auburn got really good. That's $2,000 difference right there. And then if you can definitely start at a 2-year, you know, we talk about that, G, like starting at a 2-year and bridge it to a 4-year. Once again, if you skip to the end and say, I want to see what school he reviewed, remember, talk to your 4-year. Like if you want to go to Auburn but you don't have the money out the gate, ask Auburn University, who do they have articulation agreements or pathway agreements? They're the same thing but under different names. Ask them who do they have agreements with that's a 2-year college. Go to that 2-year college because they're going to have more affordable prices usually, but still do the calculations, still verify, and go to that 2-year, do your 2 years there, then bridge to that 4-year you want to go to. It's that simple. And then G also said, yeah, it is. Auburn has quite a few noble alumni and much bigger. Yeah. I've been on Auburn campus. We got invited to a basketball game. One of my bros, he went to Georgia Southern, and the school, he was a manager, I think. Yeah, he was no, I think he was graduated at this point. And then they invited us to Auburn. It was Auburn versus Georgia Southern. Very good game too. And then Auburn had a nice, beautiful campus. It made me want to go there a little bit. And I was at my 2 years still, so I had a lot of time to I was like, I don't know now. Auburn's not that far from my city. I might be in state. I thought about it. I definitely thought about it. And it says, so they can spread that cost out more among students. So they can spread that cost out more. Yeah. Yeah, because, lower prices, more students. That's how I look at it. And every student can't stay. Please don't stay on campus, guys. Please don't stay on campus. Now, if you are in an unfortunate situation, please explore all your options. Look, please try to get a part-time job. Remember, you cannot go to college. You can go to college without money, but you need to have your own money. It's very important to have your own money when going to college because you never know what can happen in these times. You just never know. So, that's pretty much all we had. We talked about how long we talked today. We went for 1 hour and 58. Let's hit the 2-hour mark. Let's hit the 2. No, okay. Let's hit the 2-hour mark. Let's hit it. We got 2 more minutes. I can definitely find something for 2 more minutes. I could definitely find something for this. I could definitely find something for us to talk about real quick. Something just a topic of. So real quick. This is called the last 2-minute stretch, and we just created this right now, just so we can hit the 2-hour mark. So what is it? Professionals. You got something, G? G gonna throw an idea out there. How do you plan out your videos? Well, your streams. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I plan out my streams. since I do them every day, I do try to get topics from sources on social media and turn those into conversations, right? I try to turn it into something interesting and find something somebody I can't give you all the scoop, right? I can't give you all the ideas. But I do some around there, right? Social media, find people who people like, people who people watch. Whoever people watch and they're popular, I go after them in this career field. To switch it up and make it engaging. And then I take something I care about. I take my ingredients and what I studied in school and perfect it. And then I use that. And then when I wake up, because sometimes I'm gonna be honest, there's gonna be some days where it's not no juicy stories, right? Or no juicy headlines to go after. So you just have to like surf, surf, surf. And since I do every day streams, it's hard for me to get research, right? It's hard for me to really like sit down and read because I know I got school coming right back up too in the fall. So that's gonna be all my reading right there again. But don't give me all the juice, just enough to satisfy my thirst. Oh yeah, G, I'm starting to figure out who you are a little bit. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm starting to figure you out. I'm starting to figure you out a little bit. Yup, starting to figure you out. And so that's pretty much how we plan them out. And so I take the live streams that we do, hopefully on weekends, cause military messed my schedule up. So I got a lot of homework. You know about that, G, right? It ain't gonna move unless you move it, unless I bring somebody in to help. But I plan on chopping up some of these a lot. I'm chopping up all these videos as we speak, and then it's gonna be short form videos. G laughing. And so I'm chopping these videos up as we speak though. And so probably like definitely gonna be three. I do two, and they're gonna be short form videos from the live stream because everybody doesn't like live streams. Some people like hearing. I don't want to watch all that. So yeah, yeah. But the main goal, like you said, is consistency out the gate. Just gotta be consistent, man. If anything, I don't care if I'm bad one day. Like that one video. Did you watch that live stream, G? When I had my buddy Justin Carter on there, it's like it's got the headline is Hispanic serving institutions. Like you seen that live stream, G? Hispanic serving institutions. It's like we was in a different whole area. I was at his house doing the live stream, and I was at his house, and my voice was gone because I had a I didn't have a full sinus infection, but it was getting there. But it had did enough damage to hurt my voice. Okay, yeah. Yeah, my voice was bad. I didn't even have a voice, but I still did it. I had to, hey, I was like, I told him, I was like, look, you just got to do a lot of talking. If I put you on the spot, it's because my voice is hurting right now. And so it was definitely, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to post it. And, for some reason, a lot of people are still clicking on it. So that's good. And so I just appreciate it, though. And we're just going to make sure we keep going, though, and getting better. And yeah. And then we hit the 2 hour mark. We hit the 2 hour mark. Appreciate that, G. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And so we'll be on tomorrow, guys. Friday. This is Friday Eve. So enjoy yourself. Get ready for tomorrow. I hope you enjoy this screen when you play it back. It starts off really powerful, guys. So please watch it through. Feel free to cut up something, post it on your social media. Because I remember I got kicked off Instagram for CG. I remember I got kicked off Instagram, guys, because of, I guess, talking like this. I don't know why. It was during, some people blame it on the administration before. Some blame it on the administration now. Honestly, y'all know how Mark Zuckerberg is, man. And y'all know how he want Meta. He wants everybody, man. Y'all know how it is. Y'all know. And so Zuck's kicked me off, man. And so maybe one day he'll see me one day and I'll talk to him. I say, man, you got, you might, I don't know if you need to put me back on, but you got to let me back on. So I got kicked off Instagram for allegedly providing false information. All my information is credible. I literally pull from research. or places they do research. So yeah. And if I don't know something, I tell you guys. I don't think you're too controversial. Thank you. I feel like I'm coming off reasonable. But in the beginning of the live stream too, we do come off powerful. I feel like we talk about HBCUs. So please watch it through because it lets you know how I view things. And just watch it through. Don't watch it and I say one thing you don't like about HBCUs. Watch it through. And then comment on it. Comments are good. Please comment. And so I give you bits and pieces of me as I get bits and pieces from like G. And so G said, "Oh, they said fake news." I think they did say fake news, especially when I'm talking about. It was literally right before the Trump administration started doing their the cuts on universities, like what we're going through now. But I was talking like that before that happened. And so if you go watch the old videos, if anybody just want to go take some time to watch the old videos, you'll see I was talking about this stuff, right? About like schools, like pay, and I probably wasn't as direct with it because I was trying to make sure, because I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I felt like I wasn't gonna work in higher education the way I was coming off. And so it actually helped me get a job, fun fact. And so they thought you were fake news. Question. I don't know. They didn't say that. I literally have the screenshot. So what I would do, what I would do when we get off this live screen, I will post a screenshot on the YouTube community. I will post it, like it, comment. I will post it and let you see for yourself. And then, yeah, I think they said misinformation. But fake, I ain't see anything with fake news, but I think misinformation at the most. And so it was really confusing. Like I only had like 100 and some followers on Instagram. I see people post worse stuff, right? So please like, subscribe to YouTube, word of mouth, share it with people, cut up the video if you want to, react to it. Please state your perspective, especially if you're a professional. This is the time for professionals in higher ed to speak out. If you're a student, tell your friends, show them before you what's that? You got a friend, show them, talk about it, because y'all not in school, but parents, guardians, don't force it on the kids, but look, tell them in simple terms like, look, I'm concerned about your future. I want you to have a family. This has affected people's lives. And so, like, please just get something from it, right? And just spread the word. Because, yeah. And we'll be back tomorrow. Like G said, peace. Chicken grease. I think he said chicken grease yesterday. So, peace, and y'all stay safe out there.